Hello everybody and welcome back to Discovery Reading. My name is Marie and today we are going to learn about coral reefs. And I am sitting in front of our lovely coral reef here in the museum. So we're going to read maybe just one book today because it's kind of long, but we'll see if we have time for the other book. So our first book is called At Home in the Coral Reef by Katie Muzik and Catherine Brownwing, and we are given permission to read this by Charles Bridge Publishing. Okay, let's get started. Down, 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 in the tropical clear blue seas lives a beautiful coral reef. The coral reef is a wonderful home for hundreds of kinds of fish and thousands of other kinds of creatures. The reef itself is made of zillions of tiny animals called coral polyps. Here's some types of coral right here. This one's called the staghorn coral, and this one is called the purple sea fan. And then we also have some other creatures like the sponges and some other kinds of fish. Lots and lots of animals live in the coral reefs. Each tiny coral polyp catches food with its little arms called tentacles. The polyps share their food and live so close together that their skeletons are connected. Some kinds of coral polyps make soft skeletons that sway gently back and forth in the water. These polyps have 8 tentacles. Other coral polyps make skeletons that are hard as rock. Their hard skeletons form the coral reef. A hard coral polyp has 12 or 24 or 48 or more tentacles. Together, over 50 kinds of hard coral form this reef in the Caribbean Sea. There's the soft coral. It's called the sea whip coral, and it has 8 tentacles. What are these pink things? Coral eggs. Once a year, coral polyps have babies. Eggs and sperm pop out of the polyps and float up and up and up to the top of the blue sea. There, each fertilized egg becomes a baby called a baby coral called a planula. Now it is ready to search for a new home. The planula is completely covered with little hairs. It swims by waving them through the water, but it cannot swim very fast. Watch out, little planula. Watch out for those hungry wrasses. Whoosh! Just in time, a big wave carries the planula away to... See, look, there's the coral egg, and then it becomes a planula, which is basically a baby coral. So you see all those little dots. Those are coral eggs. All those little dots. And in order to stay away from those are wrasses. They're trying to eat the coral eggs. The wave carries the eggs away. Oh, let's read the last sentence again. Whoosh, just in time, a big wave carries the planula away to the crest, or the top of the coral reef. Here the water is very shallow. Because it is so shallow, the waves break and crash into the reef. Splash, crash. The breaking waves make the water very rough. It's so rough that only a few animals can live here. A fireworm holds on tight. A school of blue tangs darts in and out, hunting for food. Splash, crash, splash. Will this be the home for the new planula? No, it's too rough. The planula is swept along, riding a wave over the crest to, let's see, there's a fireworm, let's see, and then we have some blue tangs right here. You can see how rough the water is. Oh, and there's the little planula. It can't live in the rough waters. Okay, let's read the last sentence. The planula is swept along, riding the wave over the crest to the lagoon. Water in the lagoon is calm. Although the lagoon seems peaceful, it is a really busy place from top to bottom. At the top, a pelican gulps a pouch full of fish. At the bottom, a stingray slurps up shrimp. Many animals looking for food in the lagoon are hard to see. An emerald clingfish hides on the blade of turtle grass. Clams and crabs hide in the sand. Such a busy place, day, and you can see the pelican up there, and then the stingray, starfish, and then some other kinds of fish in the lagoon. Such a busy place, day and night in the lagoon. Flash, glow, blink. What could these lights be? They twinkle like stars in the sky, but they are all underwater. These lights are made by animals. Animals almost too small to see are twinkling. Brittle stars flash to scare away lobsters and crabs. Worms glow to show other worms where they are. Flashlight fish attract their food by blinking. Can the planula live here? No, it's too sandy. The planula needs a rocky place. Let's see. I can't see the little planula. Can you guys find it? I don't think. It might not be in this picture. It floats along to the red mangrove trees near the shore of the lagoon. Red mangroves can grow in salty water. Their roots grow out and hang down into the ocean. Sponges and seaweeds grow on the roots. Millions of baby fish and baby shrimp start their life in the water around mangrove roots. There's lots of food for them there. Will this be the home for the planula too? No, the water here is too shady for the planula. Let's see. Oh, there it is. The little planula looking for its home. Let's see. Well, these are some of the things that live in the mangrove. So we got the mangrove tree. You can see that their roots go into the water. And then we have some oysters and some other kinds of fish and crabs. Oops, sorry. So you guys can see that. And there's the mangrove. Oh. It turns away, the planula turns away and swims along to the shallow water near the beach of the lagoon. The sunshine heats the sandy beach. The sand was made by the ocean waves. Over thousands of years, waves have pounded the skeletons of reef animals and plants into smaller and smaller bits. Eventually, the bits formed so many grains of sand that they covered the bottom of the lagoon and washed up on the shore to make a beach. Will this be the home for the planula? Let's see. There's the planula right there. Let's see, here's some things that live near the beach. We got a sea urchin. Has anybody ever seen a sea urchin in real life before? Type in the comments if you have. Some sort of plants and lots of sand, some snails, and a coral skeleton. So those are some things that live near the beach. Oh look, and you can see the mangrove out in the distance. Let's read the last sentence. The planula catches a current to deep water. Oh no, the water is dirty. The water is so dirty, the coral is dying. The dirt smothers the coral polyps and blocks the sunlight they need. Chemicals wash down the rivers from factories and farms, Chemicals wash down the rivers from factories and farms poison the coral. In the dirty water, harmful bacteria grow over the coral and kill it. Careless divers hurt the coral too. They step on it and break it with their boat anchors. Without living coral, the fish and other animals will leave. The planula cannot live here either. Luckily, a current carries it out of the lagoon, over the top of the reef, and down. Let's see. You can see the polluted ocean. That's not good. We need to make sure that we keep the oceans clean so that the coral can live. And when the coral live, that means that it provides homes for lots of other animals too. Oh, Heather has seen a sea urchin before. Very, very cool. Okay, let's read the last sentence. Luckily, a current carries the planula out of the lagoon, over the top of the reef, and down the other side of the reef, deeper and deeper and deeper, to a healthy part of the reef. At last, a safe spot for the planula to settle down. The spot is hard and rocky. It's sunny, but not too hot. Gentle currents bring clean water and plenty of food. It will be a perfect home. There's the healthy coral reef, and there's some things that live in the coral reef. There's a manta ray, some squid. This is a coral, and then this is a worm right here. Pretty cool. There's lots of cool things that live in the coral reefs. Let's see. Surprise! The planula is changing. First, it sticks itself into a safe spot. Then, around its mouth, it grows 12 little tentacles. Now it is a polyp. It looks like a flower, but it is really an animal. Under its soft body, the polyp starts to grow a hard white skeleton. In a few weeks, it makes another tiny polyp exactly like itself. The polyps are connected to each other. Together, the two polyps have 24 tentacles for catching food. Oh, a little copepod. Catch it. There's the coral right here. Let's see. Oh, look, this is cool. It shows you a 1 month planula, and then at 6 months, and then a year. So that is how a planula grows, the different stages of the planula. That's pretty cool. And then there's the picture. The planula is growing up to be a staghorn coral. More polyps grow, and more and more. Here comes a reef butterfly fish. It eats coral. Quick, tiny polyps, hide. The coral polyps warn each other of danger. Quick as a wink, they hug their tentacles in. They hide their soft bodies down inside of their hard white skeleton. When the danger is past, the coral polyps slowly come out and open up their tentacles again. So that's pretty cool that the coral can warn each other of danger, like this fish, and they pull in their tentacles and hide their soft tentacles from the fish. So that's really cool that coral can do that. There's some different types of coral again. The staghorn coral at 2 years old. Let's see, we got a feather star, and let's see, a giant sea fan, and those are called sea squirts. That's pretty funny. Let's see, what's next? If I can flip the page. All right. Many creatures in the reef are partners that help each other hide or find food. A crab hides in the coral to escape from a hungry octopus. Let's see. A shrimp lives safely inside a vase sponge. At a cleaning station, gobies eat what they clean from the teeth of a big grouper. The grouper holds its mouth wide open for the gobies. Away from the station, the grouper would eat gobies. Even these tiny polyps would have partners. The polyps get special food from little golden plants living just inside their skin. In return, the plants get a home. This partnership helps the coral reef grow big enough to form reefs. This partnership helps the coral grow big enough to form reefs. So all of those organisms are helping each other to survive, and that is called mutualism. So it's kind of a big word, but mutualism just means when two animals are doing something to benefit each other. So let's see. The polyps get special food from little golden plants living just inside their skin, and in return, those plants get a home. So that is a little example of mutualism. That's pretty cool. And here's some other animals that live in the coral reef. Plants and polyps, hammerhead sharks. Oh, these are examples of mutualism, I think. Plants and polyps, hammerhead sharks and remora, the grouper and the goby, and the sponge and the shrimp. Pretty cool. Down, down, down in the tropical clear blue sea, this coral reef is alive and well. The place where it lives is clean. Zillions of coral animals have been adding their skeletons to the reef for over 8,000 years. It takes thousands of years for a reef to grow, but only a few years for one to be destroyed. This reef and other coral reefs all around the world are in danger because the oceans are becoming dirty. Coral reefs need our help. It's true, the oceans are becoming really polluted, so it's very important that we are very mindful of the ocean and things that we use and make sure they don't end up in the ocean. Here's some other things that live in near the coral reefs. We've got the dolphin. This is a queen anglerfish, and then we have a squirrelfish, and then this is a 15-year-old staghorn coral. Pretty cool. What we can do to help a little baby planula grow. What can we do to help a little baby planula grow to become a part of a big coral reef? The first step is to discover what we do on the land affects the life in the sea. All living creatures, including corals and people, need clean water. We all use water on our farms, in our suburbs, and in our cities. We throw many things into it that can make it dirty. This dirty water flows into rivers, lakes, and underground streams, and eventually ends up in the sea. There it hurts the coral reef and all creatures that make it their home. But we can make a difference. We can make our rivers and lakes and oceans clean again. We can learn about life on the coral reef and share what we learn. We can help people everywhere to care about the amazing reefs and the tiny coral animals that build them. Yeah, so it's very, very important that we talk about how amazing the coral reefs are and just kind of bring a little bit of awareness as to how important coral reefs are. They provide homes for millions and millions of different kinds of animals and creatures. And coral reefs are also important because they help protect the beaches from storms and other kinds of things like hurricanes. Coral reefs actually really help protect the beaches and the coastline. All right, so that was the end of that book, and it was called At Home in the Coral Reef. Let's see what time it is, and if we have more time. Okay, so we probably don't have time to read another book. The other book is kind of long too, so I'm just going to show you some really cool things. Let's see. So here we have a little coral skeleton. Let's see. I think this might be a staghorn skeleton from the pictures that we saw. So you can see how cool it is. I think all the tentacles would come off these little parts right here. But I think they would be softer, and this is just the skeleton. So it's pretty cool. It is really hard. It does feel kind of like a rock. It actually feels a little bit like glass. So it is very fragile. Their skeletons are really fragile. Oh, I have lots of different kinds of coral skeletons. So here's another one. This one's a little bit different. Here, I'll show you both. You can see how different they look. So this one has lots of little bumps on it. And this one has a little bit longer tentacles, and this one's more kind of stubby. That's pretty cool. And here is one with this is a really long tentacle. Hold on. So I'm guessing that this coral is actually part of a bigger coral like this. So I think if this coral got bigger, it would kind of look like this a little bit. Pretty cool, huh? So there are coral is not the only thing that lives in coral reefs. There are other kinds of animals like fish, and there's also things like sponges. So sponges are also animals, even though you wouldn't really think that this is an animal, but it actually is. It's a very, very much simpler animal than other kinds of animals that live on this earth. But it is really cool. Sponges are very cool animals. Let's see, I'll show you some other kinds of sponges. They can come in different sizes. So one's kind of big, this one's small. In the book, it talked about there is a vase sponge, and those sponges can get really, really big, and they do really look like a vase. They go up like this, and they kind of go in the middle, and there's a little opening that goes through the middle, and it's really cool. Let's see, I'll show you guys some more coral, and then we'll talk about fish for a second. So this one is called a mushroom coral because it looks like a mushroom. But yeah, it's really cool to see how they can come in different sizes and look really different from each other. So here's a really small one. It's also a mushroom coral. So really cool. And then I just have a couple more corals to show you. Let's see. This one is called, you guys want to take a guess? What do you guys think that one's called? What does it look like? Something inside of your head. Give you a hint. Look at this one. This one's pink. I think it was just painted pink. But corals can come in a bunch of different colors. And if you're ever lucky enough to see an actual coral reef, it's really, really cool to see. Yes, you're right. It is a brain coral. Good job. So this is a brain coral because it looks like a brain. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's quickly talk about some fish really fast. I just want to tell you one thing about fish. So, lots of different kinds of fish live in the coral reefs, and we're going to learn the different kinds of fins that fish have. So let's see, let's look at this fish. They have a fin on top, and that is called the dorsal fin. And let's see, they have the fin back here, which is called the anal fin. And then there's supposed to be fins right here. They're called pelvic fins. And then right here, I'll show you on this fish. And then on the sides of the fish, like right here, those are called pectoral fins because their pectoral muscles are right here. And then the last one is called the caudal fin. And this is the fin at the end of the fish. All right, so now you know about coral reefs and about a little bit about fish. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.